Hello everyone, welcome to today's deck profile. Today I will be doing the Reptilians. This is a reptile deck based around dropping your opponent's attack points to 0 so that you can begin to plus off of your opponent's monsters. It's a pretty fun rogue archetype that you can even take some of the monsters and spells and traps from this build to put into other decks to make a really competent reptile deck. So without further ado, let's hop right into the monster lineup. Starting, we're playing triple Reptilian Yumi. Reptilian Lamia is a level 2 dark reptile. During the main phase, if you have a reptile monster in your grave, quick effect, you can send this card from your hand to the graveyard, then target one face-up monster your opponent controls, change its attack to 0. Since that is a attack modification, you can activate this in damage. Also, if your opponent controls a monster with 0 attack, you can special summon this card from your grave. You can only use one Yumi effect per turn, and only once that turn. Really great card. It's a hand trap, as well as allowing you to kind of set up your plays by giving your opponent 0 attack monsters, or just summoning it back from the grave by giving your opponent a 0 attack monster in a different way. Really fantastic card, a definite 3 of in the pure build. Next, we play 3 copies of Reptilian Recoil. If you control a dark reptile monster, special this card from your hand. Then, if your opponent controls any monster with 0 attack, special summon an equal number of reptilian monsters from your hand. If this card you control be used as a synchro material for a reptile monster, you can treat it as a non-tuner. It is a level 4 tuner. Really great card. It is a free summon, so you're definitely going to want to play 3 of it. Even though it's searchable, it's a great card just to play in this archetype. I highly recommend. 3, it's also great for any reptile deck giving you a tuner. Next, we play 3 copies of Reptilian Lamia. This is a level 2 reptile tuner. If this card is in your hand and all monsters you control are face-up reptile monsters, you can target one face-up monster your opponent controls, change its attack to 0. If you do, special summon this card, then take damage equal to that monster's original attack. If this card is sent to the grave as synchro material, you can target 2 face-up monsters in the field and change their attack to 0. You can only use one Lamia effect per turn, and only once that turn. Fantastic. Another level 2 tuner, which is why Recoil has to have that secondary effect on it, because a lot of the tuners in this deck are level 2s. So really great card. Definitely recommend running it at 3 so you can start getting those monsters dropped on your opponent's side of the field. Next up, Triple Viper. When this card is normal summoned, you can select and take control of one face-up monster with 0 attack your opponent controls. Level 2 Reptile Tuner. This is a fantastic way to start snatch stealing your opponent. Really great. It does keep it permanently, so fantastic way to kind of out your opponent's board without having to enter battle phase. Definitely a 3 of in the deck. Then we play 3 copies of the boss monster, Reptilian Vasky. This card cannot be normal summoned or set. This card cannot be special summoned except by attributing 2 face-up monsters from 0 attack from anywhere on the field. Once per turn, you can select and destroy one face-up monster your opponent controls. There can only be one face-up Reptilian Vasky on the field. So, Vasky is a pseudo-kaiju. You can get 2 of your opponent's monsters that have 0 attack and tribute over them to summon Vasky to your field, which is a fantastic effect. It's a 26 beat 6, so you can actually start getting damage because most of your Reptilians don't have a lot of attack on their own. Definitely recommend playing this at 3, if not, maybe 2. Next up, we play 3 copies of Black Mamba. It's a level 3 Dark Reptile. If you control a reptile monster, special summon this card from your hand. You can only special summon it once per turn this way. If this card is normal or special summoned, target a monster your opponent controls and send a reptile monster from your deck to the grave. If you do, change that targeted monster's battle position. It's a good card. It's mainly in here for free link fodder for stuff like Echidna, but you can synchro 2 of them with a level 2 tuner to go into the melee scene. But really, he's just kind of a free reptile body. Plus, he's a Foolish Burial on summon, which is just fantastic for the archetype. Finally, we do play 2 Night Sword Serpent. We are playing Snake Rain in here, as well as Black Mamba. If this card is sent to the grave by a card effect, special summon this card, but banish it when it leaves the field. So it is a free summon. It's a level 4, meaning that it plus any of your level 2 tuners automatically gets you into your Hydra. So I don't recommend playing any more than 2 because it's rare that you're going to use the 3rd. It's rare you're going to use the 2nd, but I'd keep it at 2. That's it for the monsters. Moving on to the spells. We play 3 copies of Reptilian Ramifications. This is a insane card. If it was printed in a good archetype, it would be banned. Send 1 card from your hand to the grave to activate 2 of these effects. You can add 1 Reptilian monster from deck to hand, add a Reptilian spell trap from your deck to your hand, or you can change the attack of 1 monster your opponent controls to 0. It's insane. If it didn't search Reptilian stuff, if it searched anything else, it would be nuts. But it is still good for the deck. It gives you a monster and a spell, or it gives you a monster and then drops your opponent's monsters down to 0. If you aren't playing 3 of this card, I don't know what you're doing. We're playing triple Reptilian Recoil. Target 1 monster your opponent controls with 0 attack, or 1 monster you control with 0 attack, and 1 dark reptile monster in the grave. Destroy that monster on the field. If you do, special summon that other monster from the grave. If your opponent activates a monster effect, you can target 1 monster your opponent controls with 0 attack. Take control of it. And then give your opponent a Reptilian token. Reptile Earth level 1, 0 attack, 0 defense. So effectively, the first effect just lets you cycle through your Reptilians. The second effect is what lets you start taking more of your opponent's monsters. Really fun deck. This will definitely... Plus, gives your opponent 0 attack tokens, which means you can tribute over them for your Voski. Yeah, fantastic card. To go with it, we are playing 1 Terraforming just so we can search that field spell. Next spell we're playing is triple Reptilian Spawn. You can remove from play 1 Reptilian monster from your graveyard to special 2 Reptilian tokens. Reptile Earth, level 1, 0 attack, 0 defense. This effectively gives you free link fodder off of a Foolish Burial, which we are playing 1 Foolish, so that you can summon your Echidna. But yeah, definitely a decent card. Some people play 2 of it, and I can understand that. Then we play 3 copies of Viper's Rebirth. If all monsters in your grave are reptile, target 1 non-tuner in your graveyard, special summon it, but destroy it during the end phase of this turn. It's a monster reborn. You're not going to be keeping that monster around anyways, so you don't have to worry about the end phase effect of destroying it. Just free reborn spell. It's a fantastic 3 of. We are playing 3 Snake Rain, which allows you to discard 1 card, send 4 reptile monsters from your deck to the graveyard. Here you can send stuff like the Night Sword Serpent and any of your other Reptilians, so you can start getting ready for graveyard plays between Viper's Rebirth and the field spell. Finally, all of our monsters are dark except for the Night Sword, so we're playing 3 Lure, just as a draw spell so we can start getting to the better cards that we need in our deck. That's it for the main deck. Moving on to the extra. I would play 3 Echidna, but one of them is currently in a different deck. It takes 2 monsters, including a reptile monster. If it's linked summon, target a face-up monster your opponent controls, change its attack to 0. During the main phase, if your opponent controls a monster with 0 attack, you can add reptile monsters with different names from your deck to your hand, up to the number of monsters your opponent controls with 0 attack. Also, you are locked into reptile monsters from the extra deck. The second effect is what really comes in handy. Because if your opponent has 2 monsters with 0 attack, that is a free Voski from your deck, plus follow-up. Really great card. It's a link 2 that only needs at least a reptile, so just fantastic. We do play 3 Reptilian Hydra. It takes a Reptilian tuner and 1 or more non-tuners. If this card is synchro summon, destroy as many monsters your opponent controls with 0 attack as possible. If you do, just draw 1 card for each monster destroyed. Another really great card. It's a way to out your opponent's monsters via effect instead of battle, but it also gives you a lot of draws depending on how many monsters your opponent has. That being said, you don't usually want to use Hydra to destroy your opponent's monsters. You much rather tribute over them to summon your Voski. So I rarely go into Hydra, and if I do, I don't use its effect. Instead, I'll use it as a stepping stone to get to Reptilian Melusine. I do normally play 3, but the last copy isn't in this deck currently. Melusine's level 8 Dark Reptile, takes a Reptile Tuner and 1 or more non-tuners. If this card was synchro summoned using only reptile monsters as material, it can't be destroyed by battle or card effect. Once per chain, when your opponent activates a monster effect, except during the damage step, quick effect, target one monster your opponent controls, change its attack to 0. If this synchro summon card you control is sent to your grave by an opponent's card effect, add a reptile monster from deck to hand. Fantastic. This is your boss. This is where you want to end, because this card gets you where you need to go. Absolute 3 of, drops your opponent's monsters down. It's got a decent booty on it, and it has protection. Just fantastic card. Definite 3 of. This is where you want to end most of your boards. I think that is all for this video. The Reptilians are a fun archetype. Definitely nothing too powerful, but if they're able to set up a Melusine, then things can get pretty nasty. So I hope you all enjoyed. Make sure to like, subscribe, and I will see you all in the next one.